I looked at him in his eyes and I told him, I think you did it. I almost know you did it. And one day I'll find out. And he said, well, dude, whatever you think.
Carol Grannon was a wife and a mother to 4 children. She appeared to have a happy marriage and perhaps the perfect life when she suddenly disappeared from her Muskogee, Oklahoma home in 1999. Pretty down-to-earth kind of lady, who was generous and cordial in nature. She was always willing to lend a helping hand. Her day-to-day life seems to be blossoming as she was living the best days of her life leading up to her disappearance. This was Carol's second time walking down the aisle. Carol was previously married to Eddie Walker, who was the Wagoner County Deputy Sheriff. She had 2 children with Eddie Walker and shared the other 2 with Jeff. Carol got married to Jeff Grannon, and their marriage seemed to be going well from the outside. They were only married for 2 months when she vanished on March 15, 1999. Carol was last seen at approximately 3:30 p.m. at a family member's residence in the vicinity of the 1100 block of Turner Street in Muskogee. She left the residence to run errands, but never returned. Grannon had told police he last saw his wife when she left the house to go shopping in March 1999. Her vehicle was found more than a year later. Carol drove a gray Toyota Corolla, which was later located on June 25, 1999, near the 300 block of Rockefeller Drive in Muskogee, Oklahoma. When the police were notified of Carol being missing, they searched immediate areas, using a variety of tools at their disposal, including a large party search, leaving no stone unturned. They also combed the neighborhood for witnesses. As the days went by with no update, family and friends started to fear the worst. Police continued to interview family, friends, and acquaintances, and welcomed any tip to the location of her whereabouts. Amid all the turmoil, Jeff seemed unaffected by his wife's disappearance, and soon became a suspect for law enforcement. Unfortunately, with no leads or witnesses, the case sat without any progress for over a decade. However, Eddie Walker continued to research the case. He and David Matthew worked tirelessly as the years went by. Eddie needed to find an answer to the loss of his children's mother. In 2011, the 12-year missing person mystery was finally over. Muskogee County Deputy Sheriff Eddie Walker knocked on the door of a motel room to bust a suspected meth lab. That knock ultimately led to the discovery of the body of his ex-wife, Carol Grannon. Reports are that in February 2011, authorities arrested Jeff's son, Josh Grannon, for trying to manufacture drugs. This was the breakthrough Carol's family had been waiting for. Wednesday, February 24, 1999, was the night the pieces started coming together. The narcotics unit worked a drug bust and arrested Joshua, age 27 at the time, and several others involved. The suspect, Joshua Grannon, advised investigators he wanted to talk about something special. Josh was facing a drug charge. He subsequently offered information about the whereabouts of his stepmom, Carol Grannon. Joshua was 15 when his stepmother disappeared. He alleged that his dad had killed Carol and hid the evidence. He led investigators to search for her remains in a manhole in an alley just 10 yards behind her former home. Authorities spent 3 days digging up the remains from the sewage channel. When they found the skeleton remains, it was encased in cement mix that had been poured into the 10 to 12-foot deep drain. The remains were sent to the medical examiner for identification. While this was happening, Sheriff Pearson stated that Jeffrey Grannon was pacing the area and even offered to help us with any work we may need him to help us with. At one point, he went to shake the officer's hand, and the police officer obliged him and shook him right into a pair of handcuffs. With the remains and an eyewitness statement in their hands, police were able to arrest Jeff Grannon for murder. Carol Grannon's family says they never gave up hope. Laura Walker was a friend and the sister-in-law of Carol.
Because all of these years,
she says she never quit looking for her best friend and calls the discovery of her body bittersweet. Jeffrey Joseph Grannon was 57 years of age when he was arrested in February 2011 in relation to the homicide of Carol Grannon. An autopsy revealed that the victim had been strangled by a zip tie. Grannon was booked on a first-degree murder complaint and held without bond. Investigators say there's a chance there could be more charges filed against other people, including his son Joshua. Sheriff Pearson says the fate of the son being charged is undetermined. However, Jeff will spend significant time behind bars. Police revealed that they thought Jeff Grannon acted alone, but it's uncertain whether he had help placing the body underground. With his confession, he took a plea bargain and pled guilty to the murder charges. In court proceedings that followed, Carol's children were present to hear the horrific details of how their mother was killed. But one question was never answered. He never told them why he did it. He never admitted his motive to end the life of Carol Grannon. Grannon was given a life sentence with a minimum of 15 years in 2012. Jeff was released in 2015 without finishing his mandatory prison term. Today, he has a parole status and is believed to be residing in the state of Oklahoma.